Hey, what's up everybody? Mike from Comic Book Fans here, and today we're going to be discussing the whole accusations that Ray Fisher has been making about Joss Whedon. So, before we get into, everything with that, here's kind of like some context, and then I'll kind of just give the facts of like what's been happening, and then kind of my opinions, commentary, that kind of stuff. So, without further ado, if any of you aren't familiar with like Joss Whedon's involvement with Justice League, which I think many of you are who are, been following this for a while, know a lot about, Justice League, the movie itself, and all that jazz, and like just the crazy stuff that happened with it. Short version, long story short, Zack Snyder made his movie Justice League, but Warner Brothers kept not liking what he was doing with the movie. They wanted to make it more Marvel-like, from a lot of reports. So they kept making him compromise. He kept compromising. Finally, he compromised and made basically the cut he made to appease Warner Brothers. But before it was totally done production, Zack Snyder ended up dropping out of the production and leaving because his daughter committed suicide, which terrible, and he basically left to grieve with his family. So while he was gone, Warner Brothers hired Joss Whedon, the director of Avengers Age of Ultron, creator of Firefly, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, yada yada yada. He's got an extensive resume. But anyway, they hired Joss to come in and finish post-production on Justice League, but they also had him come in and film a bunch of reshoots that Warner Brothers had really wanted. So basically, what ended up happening, and Warner Brothers basically marketed it as just like a few reshoots, but what really happened was while Zack was gone, Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns, all the people involved, John Berg, the executive producers, all those people, took it as an opportunity to just totally get rid of everything they didn't like about Zack Snyder's movie, which was pretty much everything. So Joss Whedon basically remade the whole movie with reshoots and cut out like so much of Zack's movie to the point where it's a completely different film. So most of the actors weren't really, happy about it from what I can tell from the reports and what they've said, but nobody really said anything because Warner Brothers obviously didn't want them to, but, flash forward to today, there's been this big movement, and now we're getting Zack Snyder's original vision. So, now that all this is happening, and it seems like a safer place at Warner Brothers because AT&T bought it and seemed to have gotten rid of a lot of the executives that really didn't like Zack, including like Jeff Johns and stuff, which I have mixed feelings about Jeff. I'll probably talk about in a different video, but anyway, so long story short, Joss Whedon totally just redid Zack's work, and so while all this is kind of like getting out in the open, and we're finally getting Zack's work, Ray Fisher, the actor who plays Cyborg, he recently has been kind of being a little more honest than he has been. I heard one speculation from one person I know saying that it was because he signed a confidentiality or like a non-disclosure agreement, and now that that's expired, he's just he feels like he has free reign. So the other day, or I guess it was probably like last week now or longer, he posted on Instagram a video of him basically kind of complimenting Joss.
Yeah, I mean, Joss is a great guy, and Zack picked a good person to come in and clean up and finish up for him.
But then he also said that he left this caption saying, I aggressively rescind this statement. So I was kind of saying, like, oh boy, he's not happy with Joss's cut, which I don't think any of the actors really were. Like, Jason Momoa has been pretty vocal saying that he, wants everybody to see Zack's cut. And, nobody really has anything nice to say about Joss's work. And it was more of like a group effort with Joss, Warner Brothers, and all the executives, all the executive producers, and Warner Brothers executives. But anyway, but then a day or two later, Ray Fisher tweeted this out saying, Joss Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. He was enabled in many ways by Jeff Johns and John Berg. Accountability is greater than entertainment. That was on July 1st. So that's a pretty strong statement for sure. And a lot of people, it seemed kind of a mixed bag. I'm sure some people were kind of like running to the defense of Joss Whedon, but it seems like a lot of people are believing Ray. And then all these other reports have been coming out that there have been rumors for a while that Joss did some things while reshooting the film, but then these reports are coming out. Like, I'll kind of stick to this one scene, but apparently this rumor's been going on for a little while. At least different people have been talking about it, but apparently this scene in the movie apparently Gal Gadot didn't want to film it because I guess she felt like it was demeaning, which, yeah. This rumor has been going around, like I said, but now a lot of other people are reporting about it. The photographer for the film, Clay Anos, said that he heard the same thing responding to Ray Fisher's accusations about Joss. And then Grace Randolph, who is pretty reliable, I think. I don't really watch her stuff, but she seems pretty reliable. But she tweeted, "I doubt we'll ever get specifics from Ray Fisher, r.e. Joss Whedon, but here's one I was the first to report. Gal Gadot didn't want to film the scene, so Whedon did it with a stunt double. That's why you can't see her face." See right here? Which makes sense, I think, especially considering... well, I'll get to that in a moment. And then the photographer, Jason Laboy, who has worked with Fisher, tweeted, "Don't forget that he locked her in a room and threatened her career if she didn't do this scene. That is very important and should not be omitted." Yeah, I've been hearing that from a couple different sources, that basically, including this one, this is according to the Hindustan Times. So, but I've been hearing this report before this article came out. But yeah, basically from what I heard and from a few different sources, Joss Whedon wanted to film that scene, thinking, oh, it's funny. And Gal Gadot was like, no, it's demeaning. And apparently Joss, threatened her and was saying he could ruin her career and, locked her in some room or something. And she still wouldn't do it, so Joss instead got the double to do it. And I guess considering she doesn't really, have the same star power as Gal, she's like, yeah, I kind of have to do this. So that's a little bit... definitely, I could probably chalk that up to what Ray was saying, abusive and gross, but I'll get to that in a minute. So, moving on to, John Berg, one of the executives that Ray called out, he had an interview with Variety, and he refuted Fisher's account, saying that it was categorically untrue and that we enabled any unprofessional behavior. And he also basically made it seem like Ray was just mad that they made him say something dumb. This was his statement. "I remember Fisher being upset that we wanted him to say booyah, which is a well-known saying of Cyborg in the Teen Titans animated series." So it seems like Berg is trying to basically discredit what Ray is saying because he was upset they wanted him to say booyah, basically trivializing his accusation, but I'll get to that in a minute. Last little bit of report I want to talk about is Kevin Smith. So if you don't know who Kevin Smith is, Google him, I guess. No, he's done a lot of stuff. He's got a few podcasts, like Fat Guy or something, I don't know. But he's, made movies like Mallrats and stuff. He's been a celebrity for a long time doing random stuff. So, but basically, he revealed on his Fat Man on Batman podcast, yeah, that's the name of it, Fat Man on Batman. Basically, Kevin Smith was on the set of Rise of Skywalker. He met somebody, a special effects guy who worked on both movies, saying that there was a fair amount of trashing of Zach's version of the movie on set by Joss. Reiterating what he was told, he said that Whedon would cut down, dismiss, and be negative about Zach's version, which had been seen and all these people had made together without him, Smith added. Smith added that the special effects guy said it was uncomfortable on set with Whedon because the people that he was talking to about not liking that version of the movie were all the people who had made that version of the movie. Smith added that may have been what Fisher was referring to when he called Whedon's behavior unprofessional. Yeah. So these are all the facts. This is basically my quick opinion, just addressing everything one by one. Ray Fisher's initial accusation. I've been following Ray Fisher basically since he was cast as Cyborg. He seems like a pretty honest dude. It just doesn't seem like something he would lie about. And it's true, he has definitely been very loyal to Zach. And he has been obviously uncomfortable when talking about, Joss's cut and everything. And he's obviously very supportive of the Snyder cut. So I feel like I could be wrong, but this seems to me like he's been kind of holding this back for a while, not really wanting to say because either he was afraid to or he couldn't, like under contract. But now that the contract, his non-disclosure agreement is over with, or now that the Snyder Cut itself has gotten way more support from both DC and Warner Brothers, I think maybe he's just finally speaking out. That's just my view of it. I don't, and frankly, given everything we've seen, like John Berg, his, basically trivializing Ray's position just kind of doesn't make him look good, and it kind of just, he doesn't really seem to have any argument. He just sort of like, no, it's not true. And that's all he has to say. And then, but then he doesn't even like just deny it. He goes, but also Ray's being a little girl, but not like a little girl, but he's saying like Ray's is being a little wimp about it because he didn't want us to say booyah. Like he obviously didn't use those words, but he was suggesting that Ray is just making up things because he didn't want to say booyah. That just doesn't follow at all. What's John Berg gonna say? He's an executive. What's he gonna say? Like, oh yeah, Ray Fisher's right. We did enable Joss to do unprofessional things. But I don't know if. To be fair, I don't know if John was involved with what Joss was doing. They could have just like let Joss do it, but even letting Joss do it's a little bit enabling, I guess technically. But anyway, like what's John Berg gonna say? Of course he was gonna deny it. But when it comes to that scene that Gal Gadot refused to do, I think that holds a lot of water. It makes sense. It doesn't seem like something Zach would film at all. And it doesn't seem like something Gal would be comfortable with, honestly, knowing, kind of, well, not really knowing her, but you know what I mean. And honestly, there seems to be a lot of reports and nobody's denying it. Nobody's coming out and being like, that's patently not true. Like, Gal hasn't said anything. Like, if she says something, that's going to be like icing on the cake. But at this point, there's been so many reports. And as some fans have been pointing out, if you look at this scene, it's pretty much the same exact thing. Joss basically did that same thing in Age of Ultron, and then he did the same thing in Justice League, so it kind of makes sense that he would be doing that. So I don't think that there's any dispute that he did that scene. I think the only thing you can really dispute is that Gal, the drama behind it, but I mean, you don't see her face, so. And the stunt double, or the Gal's double for the reshoots, recently posted photos, kind of showing she did do a lot of the work on that movie because Gal was pregnant and apparently because she didn't want to do this scene. So that report does seem to hold water to me, but I guess we'll see what develops from that. It is kind of conjecture, but at the same point, there are a lot of people saying the same thing. So we'll see, I guess. But then Kevin Smith's, what he was saying, well, he did hear it like second or third hand. Again, it makes sense because I remember when the movie first came out, when Justice League first came out, people were tweeting about how terrible Steppenwolf was as a villain. And Joss Whedon was like liking those posts and I think replying, with like laughing emojis or something. But basically like agreeing with people that were tearing down the movie. So it seems pretty obvious he did not care for Zach's vision and had no respect for Zach's vision. Even though Zach was leaving us, his daughter died, he seemed to show no artistic integrity at all and just totally changed Zach's work. Now, Warner Brothers let him do it, heck, even wanted him to do it, and so did the executives, but Joss didn't say, no, I'm going to stick to what this guy's, what this guy wanted to do with his work. I'm going to keep his work, do what I can to, like, spruce it up or, finish it up, but no, he just did whatever the heck he wanted, added stupid comedy bits, whatever, and it's not like I believe what Ray's saying because I think what Joss did was wrong, but I think the last couple years Joss has been like, I don't know, like he's done a lot of great things, made a lot of great movies and TV shows, but he's kind of seemed like a jerk lately. I don't know what it is, but his Twitter feed is very often just like angry, ragging on people, just kind of being a jerk, and just the way he's been acting. He's even spoken out about Marvel, saying that he had a hard time working with Marvel when like literally no other director has. Like literally every other director is like, maybe, I'm trying to think, there might have been one other director in the beginning who had problems, but pretty much every other director that's worked with Marvel has been like, yeah, they let me do what I wanted, It seems like Joss just is very, I don't know, headstrong or something. He just does not work well with others or something. I don't know. He seems like he used to, because like even with his tweet, like Alan Tudyk, the actor who worked with him on Firefly, said he just can't believe Joss doing something like this, but they are friends, so I doubt he would show that kind of behavior to his friend, but I don't know. I don't know if Joss has changed, but it seems like he's been a lot more something lately. If something's going on with him, I wish him Godspeed in figuring it out, but otherwise he just kind of seems like he's being a dick. But I don't know. That's my opinion. I really have a hard time not believing Ray unless some significant evidence comes out in Joss's favor. But it does seem like he was really unprofessional on set, ragging on Zach's vision, obviously showed no respect for Zach's work. And according to several reports, he was pretty like abusive and aggressive towards Gal, and probably, I don't know if he was doing like the Gal, he might have done it to other people on set. Who knows? But yeah, so those are my thoughts. That's what's been going on with this whole controversy, and honestly, it hasn't been that much of a controversy. It seems like most people are siding with Ray in this situation, but we'll see what happens. But that's it. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, a like, and I will see you all later with more content.